Right. So this one is factoring three terms when it's a perfect square trinomial. And I'm sure you guys remember when you take 4x plus 5 squared, it means you are going to multiply 4x plus 5 for x plus 5. And when you do the FOIL method, right, the 5 is going to multiply the 2, you would end up with 16x squared plus 40x plus 25. So the big thing when you have to make sure is when you look at the first number and then the last number, they have to be perfect squares. Remember, we have you guys go over what's 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. We went all the way to 20 and we put 25, I think, at the end. Make sure you remember those will make your life easier. Even if when you first look at it, it doesn't look like it is a perfect square because 14 is not a perfect square, you can try to see if you can take a number factor it out and see if you can do it. But in this case, it's not going to give you the same effect that it would give this number, right? So you just have to be very careful. All right, so when it comes to a problem like this, right, a squared plus 2ac plus c, if the middle number is a plus, that means this is going to be a plus. If this is a minus, then this would be a minus, okay? So just try to remember that as a hint. So when I look at it, they both is plus, so they're going to be plus. But this one has a negative 45, so I have to make sure I take that out also. So the first thing I would do is check if they have a GCF. Because this is 25, you know that it's not no common number, but I can clearly see that 36 is and 25 is a perfect square. So when I take the square root of 36, I would get 6, right? And then the square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to put 6x here plus 5, right? So there wasn't any GCF to take out. But remember, you have to test if when you multiply them, it gives you the middle number, right? That's the big check you have to do. So what this means is if I take 6x plus 5, 6x plus 5, I know the end number would give me this, the factors. Like this would give me 36x squared, and then this gives me the 25. But I need to make sure the 6x times 5, right? And then the 5 times 6x has to add up to give me 60x. That's what I have. So 6 times 5 is 30. 30x is what I get from here. And 30x is 10. Yes, it would pass. So the simplest way I can write this equation would be 6x plus 5, the whole squared. Okay. In this case, it looks like I can get a factor. Z can be factored, right? And also 5 can be factored. They all have 5. Because the coefficient is negative, I'm taking negative 5 out. So when I take negative 5 out, negative 5z out, what is left, right? So it's just divide this by negative 5z, divide this by negative 5z, and divide this by negative 5z. When you do that, negative 45 divided by 5z is going to give me 9x squared. 30 divided by 5 is going to give me negative 6x. And then I'm dividing it by negative, so this is going to be positive 1. Okay, that's what then I'll take the square root of the 1, the 9, and the 1. So 9, 5c is going to be 3x, right, minus 1. So remember, since this is minus, this has to be minus squared. But again, I'll check it. I just want to make sure this would give me the same middle number. I know the end number will give me 3 times 3 is 9x squared, Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, so I know that. But I need to make sure if when I multiply the 3x by negative 1 and then negative 1 by 3x, it means I need to get negative 6, right? 3x times negative 1 gives me negative 3x. Negative 1 plus times negative 3 is negative 3x. When I add it, it gives me negative 6x. That means this would work. Okay, this is the last thing you guys have to do.